Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I will show the gameplay by Leonard and Andrew, and this game complete in only 17 moves. And in this game, the white move chess onwards only with the king in the most of the game, and with this the white king is easily trapped in the center of the board and being checkmate in. And as you see, this is the score sheet of the game, and it only complete in only 17 moves. And you can see from the move 10 onwards, most of the move by the white king towards the center of the square. So let's see how the game play in this game. The game starts with the pawn to e4, and the black play a d5, and now the white capture. Then the black develop another knight, and here the white move c4 trying to protect the pawn, and here a c6 was played trying to attack the pawn. And after this, the d capture and the knight capture the pawn, and now the white continue to develop knight to f3, and here the black play e5 to gain the center of the board. And here the first 5 move, and you can see that the position is equal in the game, and the game continue with the white play a d3, then e4 was played trying to attack the knight. And after this the black also hope that the pawn will be captured and the queen will just attack the queen, and this will prevent the white to castling and bring the king to the safe place. So in the actual game, the pawn d takes the e4 pawn. So after capture the pawn, then the queen just attack the queen, and now king capture, and this now the white cannot go for castling as the king had been moved. And here the black h and h, and slightly better in the game. And here the black continue to capture the pawn, knight takes e4, and the bishop to e3. Then the bishop continue to attack with the bishop f5, and this will allow the long castling, and the rook will bring to the center of the board and attack the king. And here the black has the compensation, and after this the knight to h4 trying to attack the bishop. And after this, here come the strong move of castling, and here the rook is checked the king, and this is the first 10 move, and you can see that the position change, that the black is now better in this position with the activity of the piece in the 16th square and in the center of the board. And now if you move the king to c1, then the bishop can go to c4 and trying to attack the d1 square. And if you move the pawn at h3 to attack the bishop, then the rook will just go to d1 and check the king. And if the king goes up, then the bishop will go to e2 and attack the bishop, and will be winning the piece as the bishop is being pinned. If you capture with the bishop takes e2, then the rook will just take h1, and we will be winning in the exchange. So and if you play the knight to prevent the check, knight to d2, and now you can just use the knight continue to attack, and if the bishop just capture it back. Then you bring another bishop into the action and also you attack the pin pieces of the bishop. So after this, if the knight just capture the bishop, then the rook will just attack the bishop and check the king. And now the only safe play is to move the king to c1. Then you just bring another rook to e8 and preparing to attack for back rank checkmate. So rook e8 can be played, and if here you play a bishop, move any to these two square and the black will just win the bishop. For example, if you move here, then the rook will just capture it. Back to this position, if you move to d3 and the rook can just capture it. And if you move the knight to e3, then the continuation will be just use the rook to capture the pawn and remove the pawn to guard the knight. And now the rook at e will able to capture the knight freely. So after the rook takes the pawn, now the knight need to run away, and if you run away to any of these places such as f5, then you have the back rank checkmate. And if you move the knight to c2, and now you can just bring the rook to d8 and continue to attack and win the knight. So here at this position, the black has many ideas to attack in this game. So after the castling, then in the actual game, the white play king to e2. And here after this position, the black continue to develop and attack the white. So in this position, the black continue to play a bishop to e6, and here the idea is to capture the free pawn and attack the king. And after this, the white continue to move to f3, and here f5 was played, and now the white played a g4, and here the black continue to play knight to e5 and check the king. And after this check, you can see that the king have a few moves, but in the actual game the king moved to f4, and with this move the white is winning the game. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the continuation of the black to win in the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves that the black play. In the actual game, the black play g5 and check the king, and the pawn also attack the knight, and the pawn cannot be captured because it's being protected by the knight. So after the check, the king only have one place, is to move the king and capture the knight. And after capture the knight, then the black continue with the bishop diagonal check, and this force the king cannot go back to f4, and instead now the king only have two options. And in the actual game, the white just capture the bishop, and after this the black just move the rook to e8 and continue the check. And after this, the king move to d5 and here you have the removal of the bishop to any of the square, and it will be the open checkmate. So after this, bishop f4 was played, and now there's nothing you can block the check, and the king is being checkmate in the center of the board. And back to this position after the bishop check, and if you move the king to d4, and here again after move away the bishop, such as move the bishop to c7, and it will be a checkmate as well. So based on this game, and you can see that the white move the chess onwards only with the king towards the center of the board, and this the king is not safe in the center of the square, and in the early first 10 move the king do not castling and do not prevent the king to the safety position. Therefore it might cause the white to win easily, to black to win easily in the game, and the white king can be easily to be checkmate. And with this, thank you.